getting back to your question on leukemia, he had written many things about the ability of Dianetics and Scientology to cure cancer, and also has reportedly in those days of auditing an 18-month-old baby successfully with cancer, and in my experience throughout Scientology, I never have seen any cure or remission or halting thereof of cancer, period. And he had, you wait just a second, I think I have, this comes from, I don't want to get all involved in the whole thing, but this comes from the Journal of the Hubbard Association of Scientologists International. You see, that was a, quote, scientific organization, unquote, not a religious organization. Copyright 1953, and quote, leukemia is evidently psychosomatic in origin, and at least 8 cases of leukemia have been treated successfully by Dianetics after medicine had traditionally given up. The source of leukemia has been reported to be an engram containing the phrase, quote, it turns my blood to water, unquote.
What does that mean?
That means that 8 cases of leukemia have been treated successfully by Dianetics.
Okay.
And that is untrue, but that's what now this was written by my father, L. Ron Hubbard.
Tell me about the old man's casebook.
That's just what I quoted from.
The old man's casebook?
Yes, it. I just quoted from that. And
that's where the source of the cure of leukemia comes.
The old man's casebook by L. Ron Hubbard, and it is this was the Journal of Scientology, which we put out, and he wrote virtually every word in all of the journals. And also you will find in some of those journals a name by the name of Tom Estabrook, and that is L. Ron Hubbard too.
Did he ever have any other nom de plumes other than Estabrook and L. Ron Hubbard?
In Scientology, that was the 2 main ones he had previously in his science fiction and Western writing. Winchester Remington Colt was one of them. I believe
that's his gun or his name?
Mm-hmm. That was his pen name. You had Rene Lafayette. He wrote the Doc Methuselah stories under that name. I believe there was something like a Captain Phillips. He had half a dozen different pen names.
You left Scientology in 1959, and you began to disassociate yourself with the organization. According to this, what I have, you watched the organization become a criminal conspiracy. Can you tell me about that?
Well, that is slightly incorrect. I was very much part of the criminal conspiracy through the 50s, so it wasn't really me watching it become a criminal conspiracy. It would have to be I watched it continue to become a criminal conspiracy, to be more accurate. Well, must realize that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, but I wish to paraphrase on that, which is that, for instance, power is very enjoyable, and total and absolute power is ecstasy. Scientology is a power and money game. The definition of life in Scientology, what is called, it's game. Life is a game, same as Monopoly or playing gin rummy. It doesn't have all that much reality to it, which means that you can pretty well do as you please. And one of the My father always felt that he was above the law because he had created the law. He created whatever rules, regulations, and laws that he flew by. There was only one sin in Scientology, which was repeated to me at least a few thousand times, which is getting caught.
Can you be more specific about?
Well, I'm giving you a basic viewpoint. That's
we'll
all.
get into that a little later
go on. I think that yesterday I alluded to several things that we did. For instance, in the Philadelphia fiasco of being served papers by the U.S. Marshals in December of '53, I ran around and emptied all of the bank accounts out, which was, I guess, subverting the purposes and the desires of the federal court. We grabbed up all of the mailing lists and ran off with them. I remember going around all day before the court thing and hoarding and putting away what money we could from a couple of, I think I had 2 bank accounts. I didn't have, my father did. 2 bank accounts, and we went out in the country, and I hid for a day or so to make sure that both the mailing lists and the money were protected. This was money which I would imagine was rightfully, the federal court would have been interested in. We did such things as when we took the organization over from John Noiga, who also, his real name is John Noiga Bauer, and Helen O'Brien. I mean, we beat the hell out of them. I mean, that...
Physically?
Huh? This would be in 1953.
Physically, did you beat them, or mentally, or...
Yes.
And physically, you beat the hell out of them.
Correct. That was Ernie Kish and I did that little number.
Is that the man, the one-armed man?
Yes. His favorite phrase was, I'm going to go have a conversation with him. And it meant more than conversation. As an example, transportation of funds in and out of the country, I carried a whole valise full of money into England. It wasn't breaking English law, but it was breaking American law, and because after all, it was from a non-profit corporation, and it was going into my father's dollar account in England. A dollar account's a special bank account that you could set up via permission of the Bank of England. And that meant that you could bring money in and out of that dollar account without any problem. This and a couple of checks upset immigration, and they sent me back to British immigration, and they sent me back to Holland, and I got brought up before a member of Parliament, and that was a very interesting thing, but not really appropriate here. I'm trying to remember specific things. Now, you're talking about criminal activity?
Yes, we can. I would like to just go through the outline of my colleagues and get into more specific things, and we can maybe take a break and you can refresh your memory. But I also see that your sister Kay was apparently blackmailed by, she thought she was, by the Scientology movement. Is that true? You have a sister Kay?
Yes, I do. Catherine May.
Apparently she was given auditing and she was blackmailed by that auditing?
Yes, and I think she still is being.
Do you want to talk about that?
Certainly. You mean what the blackmail was?
Well, if it's too personal in nature, I don't really have to hear that.
No, I don't mind telling you if you want to know.
But apparently your sister Kay was blackmailed by her father's own organization.
Yes. As one method to keep in touch with me. She's my full sister, and I love her very much, and I still do. Having a very tight, small family, but still they wanted her to keep tabs on me. And there are two pieces of information which would really, as far as she is concerned, as far as I'm concerned, it wouldn't, but as far as she's concerned, would upset her a great deal and upset her husband's family, all of that.
Can you tell us about the Sea Org? You sent, did your grandfather die, and then they sent the Sea Org to pick up your grandfather's remains and the funeral?
Yes, that's correct.
And I'd like to hear about that. And what about the trust fund left for Leif DeWolfe?
That's my son.
All right. Can you tell us something about that?
Well, my